All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, people of the realm. We are here today for Infinity versus Aeternum on the Suffocation Pit. And we are going to be viewing the perspective of the survivors here today. For those of you who do not know, the spectator is a little bit bugged and we get some screen tearing on the horizontal movement of killers, but not our lovely survivors here, where we apparently picked right as Ada is now in chase. That also is going to mean that we are on a bit of a 90-second delay, so a little bit longer than normal, but hopefully all do not mind. That being said, I am joined here today by T. T, how you doing today?
I am doing great, and I'm not gonna lie, I know it's unfortunate for Champions of the Fog, but I am well chuffed that we get to watch some Survivor-sided gameplay today because I am a Survivor player. So I'm interested to see what it's like from a comp Survivor perspective.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to say the least. That being said, Blight now in hot pursuit. Ada going back to Shack. No pallet though here. Let's go to Z-Wall, and looks like we are going to see that down. Blight going to go for the pickup. I imagine we're going to see a hook in basement, but no. Blight instead going to be going over to another hook, it would seem. And hard to say what it might be, as of course we do not see the killer perspective here. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, that screen tearing is rough to say the least. That being said, Blake gonna come around to this gen here, and that there, friends, is going to be a pop goes the weasel, regressing that gen by 30% of its current progression.
Everyone's favorite popping perk. Luckily, we see that the survivors have gotten one gen done already. One gen, one hook. Honestly, not a terrible way to start.
Yeah, not bad at all, to say the least. And we do see the Ace here join back on that gen. Looks like Blight has gone elsewhere. We do see the unhook there. Looks like the Blight will be on the Ada. We do see the body block from the Lori, but Blight is undeterred and looks to be going for the tunnel out here.
Looks like we've got Ada with, are we saying perks? I don't know what's going on here.
Nope, so these perks are still hidden, so as we have not seen them used so far, they are not known to the killer. That
just double checking.
All good, all good.
Things are just a little bit different today.
Yep, there's the decisive strike there. Don't want to ruin the surprise.
Exactly, and you see Ada is on the move. They've already got one down, but my guess is our survivors will be able to get them up pretty quickly. Still only one gen down, but there goes their second. And again, really strong start for our survivors. They're in a good place, but as we know, things can happen quickly. These games can spiral, and so we'll just have to wait and see.
Indeed, indeed. That being said, looks like Ada will actually get away from Chase and jumping on this gen on the far side. Ace now the one in chase, it would seem, against the Blight here. And looks like Doc the Blight will pursue them further into the middle of the map. That there, my friends, being a Spirit Fury Enduring combo, it would seem, as Ace will end up going down. It's not a combo we see often, especially on Blight, but definitely getting a little bit of value here today.
And we did see that Ace get some speed after that pallet hit, which means they're running some kind of endurance perk. So it could be smash hit, it could be something else, but
it was in fact an overcome that we saw there. So that once known or seen we can announce, but that was in fact an overcome. We also did see a lucky break as well, as the Blight may have noticed that the Ace was not leaving any scratch marks or blood while in chase.
It could have been either, so I didn't want to say directly because it happened during the pallet slap. So it could, I mean, it could have been smash hit. I don't know what the comp meta is these days. Is smash hit meta?
That is fair. That is fair. Well, I'll tell you what, I will make sure to announce the perks, so don't you worry, for you and the audience alike. That being said, Ace does take that hit, and an overcome does get them a lot of distance to boot. don't hear the Blight's Terror, so it seems like they have gotten a little bit of distance away, as we do see the 3rd gen popped off by the Ada.
Honestly, the survivors are in such a strong position right now. As long as they have done a good gen spread, which in comp, they usually get a really good gen spread going. 1 gen left, only 3 hooks. This is looking really rough for our Blight right now.
That being said, you don't want to count the Blight out just yet. Of course, they are one of the most lethal S tiers in the game. Though I do want to know, as far as gen regression is concerned, there's not a lot going for them. We saw that Pop Goes Weasel, we saw Enduring Spirit Fairy, and of course Corrupt Intervention, so that there is their full build. So no additional regression. It's going to be interesting to see here what the Blight does towards the end of this match. We do see Ace, though, back in chase via the entity markers. Though it looks like Blight may have drop chase instead, going for the unhook. Though I believe that there is, in fact, a deliverance in hand.
Yeah, and unfortunately for our Blight, we did just get a really good look at the gen spread that's left, and they have done a really great job. They have 1 on either end and then an additional 1 on Shack end. It, in theory, shouldn't be hard to play this, getting one of those 2 spread apart gens done, but you never know. Maybe the Blight has a secret trick up their sleeve or hidden in their cane, and they might be able to turn this around in endgame.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not outside the realm of possibility. That being said, we see the gen that the Ada and Ace were working on will get regressed by 30% of its current progression from a good old Pop Goes the Weasel. And looks like the Blight may have noticed someone, as that there is the Ada now in chase, taking them around the edge of the map. And looks like Blight getting a little bit turned around there, but will successfully get the M1 hit.
The outside of the realm of possibility. The realm.
Indeed. That being said, like, gonna get another break here. Keep in mind, Spirit Fury Enduring is in play, so Ada gonna have to pre-chop these pallets.
Indeed. And I'm so sorry. I just choked on my words. And they've played this really well. They have a lot of pallets to work with, so in theory, this shouldn't be too difficult to chase for the Ada, but people who play Blight are just built different, so you can never discount them.
That is true. That being said, though, I mean, Survivors already opened up the exit gate. I imagine they're trying to make their way over, but as we see, those Survivors are quite a ways away. Yeah, they're going to take the 3-man out here. Honestly,
really close to that pallet right there, but just couldn't quite get to it.
Even if they did, I'm not sure if it would have mattered. Yes, they have smashed it in order to get them a little bit of distance off the break. Maybe that would have helped them even through Spirit Fury Enduring. At the same time, I don't think it would have mattered all too much unless they were already on the way for body blocks. But either way, it's really good showing from the Survivors. Great results on the escapes. And we'll have to see what Aeternum's Blight is going to have to offer coming up here in the next trial. All right, and we are back. This time with Aeternum killing against Infinity's Survivor team. And I'll be honest with you, take a look at the win condition at the end of last match. So take a look at it right now. We're looking at a 2K7 hook in order to claim victory here for Aeternum. We'll have to wait and see if they are able to get it. That being said, they are now in chase with the Jake. Let's switch it over to Jake's perspective, see what they can do as Blight trying to mind game this pallet here. Will not break the pallet though.
And that is, have to say, a pretty big ask in terms of a win condition for this Blight, but it is not impossible. We have definitely seen stranger things, and that was a nice, quick first down. Get that pallet out of the way, get Jake on a hook. That's a good start.
Yeah, I mean, given that Blight is still one of the most lethal killers in COTF as of last season, I imagine a 2K7 hook definitely within the realm of possibility. That being said, Blight out on the prowl once again, taking a look around and seeing if they can find another survivor. So far, no dice, though, as we are going to be going towards the back of main. taking a look around, and we do hear Jen pretty well progressed. We do have her see the Jake getting healed here by the Ace, it would seem. And that there, friends, is a we'll make it, getting that heal in pretty quick.
And I think that's going to be the strat for these survivors. Quick unhooks, quick resets, not leaving people, you know, bleeding all over the place, getting the woods messy, leading the blight right to them. And we do see the Nia in chase around the back of main building. And there goes that firecracker. And they did get the blind, it looks like.
Yeah, it's hard to say from the chase itself, but it looks like they did, as Nia was able to evade the blight and continues to evade the blight, it seems. Blight taking a look around, trying to see where they can find the Nia. Will find them here at the pal, but that is a Spirit Fury Enduring. Blight getting a little bit faked out by the POV there. Nia's kind of seen it coming.
That Nia was trying to do a good sneak, but you know the Blight's got their good gaming headphones on, Gil.
Indeed, indeed. Now it looks like they are going to go for the Jake, who did attempt that flashlight save. We're going to see the POV tech there from Jake, but not able to execute it as well as they probably would have hoped, and will end up going down at the pallet.
That is unfortunate for them. Just waited a smidge too long on that pallet drop, and we did just see that we've got a couple of gens with really excellent progress going. But that is the first one popped. This Blight is making short work of these survivors and saying, no, I will be getting these hooks. I am going to meet this win condition.
Yeah, no, so far a really strong performance here, especially keeping both hooks back in the main building. We do see the unhook there from Ace. Ace very slowly creeping towards these hooks, as Blight is going to be hanging around trying to progress this survivor to second stage, if at all possible. So Ace, you're going to have to make a choice here soon, whether or not they're going to go for it or not. Looks like Blight going to go a little bit further out, and that might embolden Ace, but second stage has already happened. I think that may have been I guess it isn't a miss skill check, just bad timing there.
Yeah, you know, unfortunately, the Ace was really trying to play the stealth game, because as you guys remember from that first unhook, they are rocking will make it, so it makes the most sense for them to try and get the unhooks. You know, unfortunately, they just, with the Blight hanging around main, they had to stall a little bit, and unfortunately, they went to second phase. Not able to get that heal off. Nia right back in the Blight's focus, and honestly, I don't know what else you would do at this point. There's that Spirit Fury enduring. Oh.
Well, do you want to note that they were actually able to get the heal off with the will make it? However, Blight just able to catch up to them a little bit too quick for these survivors Viking, and was able to get the kill thereafter. Looks like Blight now finding the Jake is going to be in chase with them. Jake also on death hook, but able to evade that hit there. We'll give this Jake a little bit more time in chase.
Nice little spin there, pre-dropping that pallet. Definitely realize that they've got the Spirit Fury enduring, and so they're probably going to be dropping earlier more frequently, I would guess. Still 3 gens to go though, and 3 and 3, 3 gens, 3 survivors. That's not ideal. Typically, I like to have more survivors than gens to complete, but 3 and 3 could be worse. Oh, never mind. It's 2 and 3. Guess I forgot that he was on death hook. So this is a bit of a rough position now.
Just a little bit, to say the least. That being said, Renato hanging around the death hook here, trying to evade the Blight. We don't know who they're on just yet, though. Looks like it is the Ace, and they are going to be taking chase once again. But with 3 gens remaining, Ace in chase, and Renato not on a gen just yet. Things are looking quite grim for these survivors, as if the Blight does get one more hook, that there will secure the win here for Aeternum.
A nice fake by the Ace on the pallet. Nice dodge in the locker. Came out just a little too early. But this Blight is on a mission. They are looking around, checking to see if they can find the Renato before they do this pickup. My guess is they want to go for the 4-man.
I do believe they want to get the 4-man slug here. However, keen-eyed viewers may have noticed what I did too, and that was Ace with an Unbreakable in hand. We did see that bar become yellow as the survivor was on the ground and recovering. So Ace back up off the ground. Renato also going to make things a little bit difficult here for the Blight, as there is in fact a lucky break hiding the Renato's scratch marks and blood in this chase.
That was really well done around that main building. Seems like they were able to buy a little bit of time.
Yeah, just a little bit, but the mind game for the Blight. We see that red light being hidden. No spear fearing during this time around for the Blight, but Blight going to be able to go for the hit. Attempted vacuum pallet there by the Renato, but just unable to make it work.
And then we're heading straight back down to this Ace on the Gen, who has really excellent progress. Shaking his head no. And it looks like this is it. You know, we said at the beginning that it was a tall order to make this happen. Blight has played a good game thus far.
Yeah, they have really played very well, very efficient to say the least. We are going to see, once again, the pop goes the weasel there on that Gen, progressing by 30% of its current progression. However, I will say we are not out of the game just yet. Do want to remind everyone here that it does not end until the entity sings, and we do see the Blight going back towards the Renato, but Ace here might just have a surprise up their sleeve, as if you do pay attention to when they unhook, we are seeing that lucky symbol come up, which does mean that there is a deliverance.
Game is not quite done yet. The game is still afoot, but it looks like maybe this Blight was waiting in the wings, hoping that they might not have the deliverance, but expecting that they could. And our Ace is back in chase at the main building. See what he can do with what he's got available. Not a whole lot of pallets around left, but he can buy some time. Ooh! Nice dodge, but the Blight says, no, no, no. I've seen this before. I've been here.
Indeed, and yeah, without deliverance being in hand, that there will wrap up this trial and this set, as we are going to see Aeternum walking away victorious here in set number 1. That being said, do not fret, as we do have set number 2 coming up in just one moment, where I believe it's going to be Nurse on the Wrecker's Yard. That being said, though, Blight's going to just be in the trial for a little bit longer, just waiting for these survivors to die on hook. Going to be Blighted rushing around in the meanwhile. And with that being said, we are going to get this next lobby set up in just one moment. Before we do, though, we do want to remind everyone here today that we are partnered with Hugdom. Hugdom is a Dead by Daylight competitive community very similar to Champs of the Fog. In fact, they are hosting the entirety of Group B over on their channel. All right, and we are back, this time with Aeternum killing against Infinity's Survivor team on the Wrecker's Yard. And, you know, I switched over to Nurse just for the sake of, like, seeing where she was, seeing what she was seeing initially. There's no screen tearing on the Nurse right now. And I have no explanation for what the difference between Nurse's FOV and Blight's FOV is in Spectator, so I have no clue why this is working. That being said, I guess we'll follow the Nurse around a little bit, as they're going to be in chase with the Renato here, trying to go for a meaty swing there, but not able to connect.
And it sounds like that Party Popper has already pooped this party. I was trying really hard to make something happen, but that the Party Popper is gone. That's what you should take away from this moment. It's been used, nothing happened.
Yep, no dice on that firecracker from the Renato. Nurse gonna get a swing in and get a hit, proccing Kavanaugh's last breath here. We also do have the Fragile Wheeze in the mix for this Nurse's build, which will apply the Mangled status effect to the survivors on a successful Blink strike.
And it looks like they are going to be sticking with our Nia over here, giving him a little bit of jukes around the rocks, but a really nice hit, predicting that pallet drop beautifully, blinking right through. And down goes the Nia. 5 gens, 1 down.
Yes, and with this pickup, survivors are now keenly aware of another perk in a mix, that there being a thrilling Tremors, which would have blocked the gens that the survivors are not working on. That being said, Nurse gonna be out on the prowl for another survivor, taking a look around, not seeing anyone just yet. Let's take a search around, see where the survivors are. 1 gen about to pop here from the Atom. Another survivor looks like right next to the hook, trying to stealth out a unhook here, that there being the Ace. Walking closer and closer as Nurse blinks. Looks like Ace going to be trying to get in and will successfully get the unhook without any issue.
Nurse coming right back to that hook, as she should. And it looks like gonna keep pursuing that Nia. It looks like they are gonna go for the one and done, try and get that Nia right out of the way. Right at the beginning. My words are so bad. Trying to get that Nia out of the way right out of the beginning. But we see that Nia is a tricksy little thing.
Yes, that there is in fact a decisive strike, getting the Nia just a little bit of distance, though not all too much now, as Nia only going to be able to go to the comp corner. Looks like they will try and bide their time a little bit, but not enough, as we will see that down. And you keen-eyed viewers may have also noticed that that gen that just popped was highlighted in yellow, and that was in fact because of a discordance, which is not exactly a perk that we see all too often on Nurse. Normally it's Thrilling Tremors pop and a Dying Light along with Corrupt Intervention, but Discordance has seen a little bit more use here and there.
Why do you think they chose to run Discordance?
Hard to say, honestly. I mean, I think Dying Light just a better perk overall, unless you end up tulling out the Obsession, which, to be fair, is what is happening here. But Nia here on the hook, Atom on a gen with about 30% in. Ace once again here trying to get this unhook around the Nurse and doing a very good job stealthing.
Excellent stealthing. I thought maybe she had caught a glimpse just around those tires, but it looks like he got away with it.
It would seem that way, getting Sprint Burst here to just get a little bit more distance, securing the unhook, and they will take the hit. Nurse going to not get body blocked or light burned. We do see the hit there on the Nia, and looks like they are going to try and make their way over towards Shaq, but getting grabbed off the pallet.
Unfortunate. Ace was doing his best to get in between and try and give that Nia a little bit more time, but unfortunately our Nurse got that pallet grab. We did see somebody in Shaq though, with very good progress on that Shaq gen, but it looks like Nurse is going straight for that Atom in the back corner.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing about Thrilling Tremors. It gives the Nurse a lot of information on what gen survivors are on, and with Pop Goes Weasel, you can kind of take a gamble of which one has the most progress, and they got a pretty decent pop there, 30% off that gen. We are going to see it down on the Ace as well.
And survivors have 2 gens left with 3 survivors up. This is not a terrible place to be, but honestly, it's a Nurse game. Nurse can kind of do whatever she wants and win a lot of the time. So I think this is anyone's game at this point still.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That being said, survivors with only 2 gens remaining. We did see Renato trying to set up on a gen there. Ace slowly watching that gen regress in the meanwhile, and looks like Renato gonna make their way over towards the Ace, it would seem. And
seems like
there's the Atom down.
Seems like Atom, they were trying to prioritize letting that Atom get healed up, but unfortunately he got found by our good friend the Killer and is now on his way to basement, which could present a host of problems.
Yeah, that is going to be a big issue. We see the Renato now here on this generator, about 70% into the gen. However, I imagine there's going to be coming back here since Thrilling Tremors probably did proc, meaning that we are going to see another Pop Goes Weasel here in just a few moments.
And it looks like the survivors are trying to take a very, very stealthy approach. Sometimes you see survivors really just kind of saying, okay, well, I'll just go, I'll take chase, you know, and give you some time to do stuff. But everyone seems to be playing it pretty cool and trying not to be seen. So a little bit of a different tactic than you maybe have seen previously.
Yeah, I mean, they've definitely done a good job so far getting these gens, and that's one of the biggest things when it comes to S tiers. It's not about how many gens that you are already, how many escapes that you get, but how many gens you get completed. And do you want to point out there on the Ace, they do in fact have Deliverance, but there was no deli in hand. I'm not sure if it didn't proc or if that was a strategic decision on the survivor's parts to get the unhook and not force Ace to have a broken stas effect.
It could have been, you know, Nurse is a dangerous killer, more so than a lot of others, just because her movement is wild. And when you have someone on an S tier killer like her that is really good, sometimes getting the unhook rather than being broken is the better choice, even if you've got the option to use your Deliverance. So
yeah, I mean, that's a fair point, and sometimes it can be hard to say what goes on in the VCs or comms of these teams. You know, definitely makes some strange plays, but sometimes works out in their favor. That being said, we do see a reset there on the Atom, but Nurse getting a hit on the Renato. You want to point out there that that is, in fact, a overcome lucky break combo, giving the Renato a little bit of distance, but also hiding the scratch marks and sludge pools for what it's worth, as Nurse was hot on their trail and able to get a pretty quick 1-2 down.
this is going to be an interesting end game for our killer. They have got one gen left, one survivor on hook, but both of our survivors are healed, so they've got a shot at it to get this last gen done and maybe get a 1-man out, maybe a 2-man out. I think getting 3 out is gonna be pretty difficult at this point. My guess is Nurse is gonna be sticking decently close to hook.
I mean, it really depends on the progress on these gens, and so far from what we've been hearing as we switch back and forth between the Ace and the Atom, there has not been a lot of progress. So it comes down to whether or not the survivors are able to carry a long enough chase for this last gen to be completed. That being said, that Pop Goes Weasel going to make things a little bit difficult when the Nurse does get downs, and looks like Ace going to go in for the unhook here. However, Nurse going to be here right away in order to intercept.
Oh,
yeah, looks like Nurse did in fact find the Atom, getting a hit there and trying to go for the second flank strike. Will successfully land the hit and the down, leaving the Renato and the Ace to try and pick up the pieces. Note that Ace did not heal Renato off of hook. So going to be interesting to see if these survivors are on gens, though based on the entity blockers, it doesn't look like it.
yeah, I was wondering if maybe the Ace would have gone back to use that Will Make It on the Renato, but it looks like they've just decided to split up. I wonder if that'll end up working out for them or not. I would have thought that maybe they'd want to go back and try and get that quick heal, but you know,
I mean,
you gotta make second calls.
It makes sense because Ace is on death hook. If Ace was on a lower hook stage, I might agree with you there, but because Ace is on death hook, they don't want to be injured. As we saw here, Nurse finding the Ace, and if there was one health state left, that may have not given the Renato enough time in order to get the unhook. That being said, though, Ace will be sent back to campfire via the entity here, leaving just the Atom and the Renato to try and finish this last gen or set up a way for one of them to escape.
You know, it's unfortunate for the Ace, but I hear that the roasted marshmallows are really great at the campfire, so, you know, there's that.
That is fair, that is fair. That being said, though, I think this is the Renato here. No more lucky break in hand, and Nurse just trying to locate where they are before going for the blink strike. They will find the Renato, but getting a pallet stun. Renato doing a great job extending chase as much as possible, giving the Nurse a little bit to think about whether or not they should continue this chase.
Yeah, this Renato has been doing a great job all game, kind of running the Nurse, doing gens. They've kind of been a jack of all trades this whole time. We see Atom now has been forced off of that gen, which has pretty good progress. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get this last gen done. I think they can. You know, I want to believe that they can. Survivor mains, we stick together like that. But this is a tricky position that they are in for sure.
Yeah, especially as Nurse does end up finding the Atom here. Looks like they're going to go for a blind blink and will successfully land it too, as they are right next to the Atom. Atom getting boxed out more and more here in this corner of the map. Atom realizing they're going to go down and will take it too. That being said, Nurse not satisfied with that, and that alone will go for the slug play here and try and find this Renato.
Our Nurse's hunger knows no bounds, just like you said. She is gonna go looking. The question is, will she find him? These survivors have been pretty sneaky. But she knows to check top corner.
Yep, I was about to say, as soon as you said that the Caster's Curse was in full effect and that there will be Renato found in the comp corner and being put on hook for the final time. As far as Adam's concerned, since they are on death hook, even in the instance they were to bleed out in the next 2 minutes, 30-ish seconds, it will result in full points for the Nurse here at a 4K with 1 gen remaining here in trial number 3, set number 2. And with this last hook, that there will end this trial, where Infinity is going to need to get a 4K at 4 gens completed or less in order to claim victory here in set number 2 and force a set 3. That being said, though, we are going to get set up with this next lobby in just one moment. All right, and we are back for what could be the final trial of this match between Aeternum and Infinity, with Infinity killing as Nurse here on the Wrecker's Yard, and they are going to need a 4K at 4 gens completed to tie and force us at 3, or 3 gens or less in order to claim victory here, and also still force a set number 3, where we see a Deathslinger versus an Artist. So it's going to be interesting to say the least. That being said, Nurse out on the prowl for one of these survivors, though none have been found so far.
And honestly, as survivors, you know, during this corrupt intervention time, the best thing they can do right now is just be stealthy, be quiet, get some stuff done, but don't make too much fuss of it. This Nurse has a lot of work to do. They absolutely know that. She's going to want to get a first down very, very quickly. And by stealthing her out, by waiting out this corrupt as best they can, they are denying her that first quick down, although it looks like she is going to be hot on Nancy's trail right now.
Yes, indeed, but Nancy with the blind, really well done there, and great placement for that firecracker, to say the least. Nancy, though, with a life, getting a little bit of distance here, it would seem, as we did see that pre-drop pallet. Once again, there's with the Kavanaugh's last breath there, giving them that undetectable status effect, and Nancy going down to the second blink.
This is a good start. She's got her first hook before the first gen pops, but my guess is there could be 2 gens that are getting close to being ready to go. So already she could be at a little bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. That being said, do want to note something interesting here. Nurse this time around going to be bringing a Dying Light instead of a Thrilling Tremors here. So no Thrilling Tremors in the mix. Instead, there is the Dying Light and Corrupt Intervention. 2 gens popping off for these survivors. And that just means they need to complete 3 more, and a Aeternum survivor team will secure victory here in round number 4 of season 8 of Champions of the Fog.
Unfortunately, I think this Nurse is kind of trying to wait it out and keep this Nancy on hook and maybe get her out early, but I don't know if she has that kind of time. She has to get more done in the time that she was spending just now waiting around by that Nancy. I don't know what the play is here for her.
Well, looks like survivors were able to sneak in and get the unhook and heal using For the People. We'll have to see if that works out in favor of the survivors, or could potentially be a detriment, as I imagine Nurse would be more than happy to get the down on the tap here.
Absolutely, but I think that For the Homies was probably a good use in that she's not going to be able to get that Nancy on second stage, which my guess is she would definitely camp out at this point. So it's kind of a 50-50 of whether or not this works in their favor, but I think not a bad choice for them.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. Looks like Nancy just stealthing out a little bit, taking some time off the gens. We do see Tap here, though, within the terror radius of the nurse, and looks like the nurse will go and chase with them. Third gen now completing this here is the minimum win condition for this nurse here. So they need to get a 4K here and now in order to secure victory here in set 2. One more gen will be the tie condition, and the last one thereafter will be the win condition for a Aeternum Survivor team. And it looks like we are going to get the hook here on the Tap.
And again, you know, stranger things have happened. We've seen weird things, we've seen big turnarounds and upsets, but this is pretty tough right now.
Indeed it is, but do you want to note that gen highlighted in yellow, that there, my friends, is in fact a discordance. Shown in nurse here that there is in fact 2 survivors or more on that gen. That being said, they also are going to regress that gen by 30% of its current progression with good old Pop Goes the Weasel.
And we did just see the Adam hop off hook, use that deliverance. Broken again. Clearly this is the status they like to have for their gameplay. They just prefer to play the whole thing broken, in which case why not run gnome either, you know what I mean?
You're not wrong, you're not wrong. That being said, they're making good use of these perks, and looks like Ace will be in chase once again, but Nurse just unable to connect there on those blink strikes.
And this is just one of those matches where the survivors had a very strong start. They've kind of got her on the ropes, maybe a little bit frazzled. Nurse is doing what she can, but this was a tough one. They played that early game really well. Their last rounds really set them up in a position to be confident coming into this match. So, you know, again, something could happen, but this gen is very, very close, and my guess is they could potentially have one other as well. And there it goes.
Yeah, that's the 4th gen, so now the tie condition is met. One more gen completed, and that there will be the win for Aeternum here in round 4, and we see the disco in the distance.
Yeah, this was a really, really, really big ask. A really, really big ask. You know, even for, like, the best of the best of the best, this is hard. And these teams both have played beautifully. This was just a lot to have to come back from. And you know, my guess is maybe the mental of that could have played into things, just knowing that they had so much to do. But this was really well played by the survivors, well played by our nurse, just not quite enough to secure the tie here or victory.
Yeah, unfortunate to say the least, but both teams played very well. That being said, congratulations to Aeternum walking away victorious here in round number 4. And with that being said, Ada here in what could be the last chase here between the nurse and these survivors. Nurse just once again struggling to get that hit, and looks like Ada might be setting up for an escape via the hatch here. As we do see that exit gate open, EGC has begun. So looks like they're just gonna make their way towards the exit gate.
Yeah, I mean, they had plenty of distance. They can afford to take the hit here. They've got a couple of people healed up that can also take hits. That blind is obviously going to be in their favor as well.
Yeah,
oh,
and
we
looks
just
like
heard the Nancy somewhere, but she's
Nancy
out
was
now.
in the exit gate. Tap was kind of hanging around here. They're going to take the hit and make their way out the exit gate, and that there will be a 4-man out for Aeternum Survivor team.